Good morning. This is going to be my personal testimony and why I believe in God. This is not to convince anybody because I definitely can't convince anybody. The word alone says that God and His Spirit is the one who reveals to us and shows us who He is, and that is why we believe. And another one says we love Him because He first loved us. So this isn't to convince anybody. This is just to give my own personal testimony on why I believe. And one of the biggest things that happened in my life was I literally went head to head with a semi and lived. Not just lived, I literally walked away. And I would not have went to a hospital if they did not force me to. And even at the hospital, I told them, I am perfectly fine. I don't know what you want me to do. And they're like, well, if you feel fine, then just leave. So I left. Literally walked away from a head-on semi-collision. I was coming home. I was in one lane. The semi was coming down another lane. I was at the front of the line. People couldn't see anybody in front of me. But I noticed that the semi is starting to veer towards the median. And it don't look like he's just veering to pass. Like, it literally looks like he's going to drive straight through the median. And so I slam on my brakes, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's got plenty of room. He can just go hit the guardrail, jackknife, be done with it. Not so much. After he straightened out his entire truck and trailer, he starts coming at me head on. Now, because I had slammed on my brakes and people thought I was a bit crazy, which I still might be, but that's besides the point. I had people trying to pass me as he's coming at me head on. I had nowhere to go. I mean, literally nowhere to go. He literally hit my vehicle head on, flipped me around. My truck slid backwards. By the time I came to a stop, I was facing 2 full lanes of oncoming traffic. The person passing me got damages from my truck. The semi was completely destroyed. Like, yeah, it didn't have a good side. By the time I came to a stop, my entire driver's side looked completely fine. Like, you would not believe it. And I walked away with no injuries. Semi driver walked away with no injuries. The person passing me who had damages walked away with no injuries. People can't tell me that God was not involved in that wreck. How? Like, when I see a semi coming straight at me, my first instinct is, see ya, I'm out of here. Like, I was fully prepared to not be here that day or that next day. Like, I did not see me surviving a semi coming at me head on. I just couldn't believe it. And in a way, I didn't really want to believe it, but I believe God had a plan for me. And it was not God's time for me to leave this planet. And that's why I'm still here. And, I've had people, even in the church, ask me, after everything I've been through, not just the semi-wreck, obviously, but like dealing with people and issues in my life, why do you still believe in God? Like, people in the church have asked me, why do I still believe in God? Because the people who have hurt me here are not God. God didn't do anything to me. It's the people who are sinners that have hurt me. Everybody has sinned. I've probably hurt people. You have probably hurt someone. Someone has probably hurt you. We are all human. We have all sinned. There is no one perfect on this planet. We're all going to end up hurt by other people. It's just a fact of life. But God's not the one who does it. God's not the one that hurts us. If anything, God can be there as a support. He listens. He knows what it's like. I mean, look at us. He created us, and most of his creatures have turned away from him. That would hurt. If you've ever loved someone who didn't love you back, you know exactly how he feels. Not exactly, but you have a pretty good idea of the hurt and pain it causes him when we don't love him back, when we sin, when we go directly against what he wants us to do. If you have kids and you see them doing stuff that you know is going to get them hurt, you worry about them. You feel bad for them. Same way with God. He worries about us. He cares about us. And he doesn't want us to make the mistakes that he knows will hurt us. But we do it anyway because we have to learn on our own. But again, my testimony isn't going to convince anybody. God himself is the only one who can make himself known to each person as long as they are willing to see it. Sometimes we have our eyes closed for a long time before we come to the Lord and believe. My grandpa waited until he was a few years before he died. He knew, but he just wasn't open to seeing it until at the end. And people will make excuses against God, for God. Either way, there's excuses on both sides. For me, my excuse is for God. He gives me a purpose. That's another part of my testimony. I could not keep a job to save my life. But I have a business that I run full time. I have a commercial office that I rent from the business funds. And, nobody would have ever believed I would do it. Oh, she quits everything she does. I'm still here. 3 years, I have not had a traditional job because I've had my own business. So, that's another testimony that God has been there for me. You have your own business, there's no guaranteed paycheck. You realize exactly how much your work depends on God. And how, yes, we still have to work. We can't just sit around and say, okay, God, provide. I mean, he's going to provide. But if we don't put in the work to help him, what is there for him to bless? God tells us in his word, he expects us to work. But work ethic alone wasn't enough for me to keep a job. So I ended up having to build a business. And God's been with me every step of the way. He's provided for me. So I have millions of reasons why I believe. And it gives me a purpose, something to live for, something to tell other people, hey, this is what God has done for me. So it's not to convince someone, it's just to share my hope and my testimony. Thank you.